You're watching the Egg Central Radio Network live stream. Stay tuned. Our next interview is coming up soon. For the latest agricultural news, market updates, and daily podcasts, visit us online at eggnews890.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Minnesota Farm Fest. It is an actual beautiful day here. I haven't checked the temperature in a little while, but there's a little chill to the air. My phone, it says 75. I guess it's a little bit warmer than that. Bob Worth from Minnesota Soybean Growers Association joins us. And Bob, I can't think of 2 days where we've been in the 70s and low 80s. Something's wrong. Please help me. What's happening with the weather here?
Well, I've been coming to this for many, many years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen weather like this. It's either 110 in the shade, or it's raining, or something in between, but nothing like this. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful out here.
Yep, and it looks like it's going to be gorgeous tomorrow, too. So hats off to the weather, folks. Thanks, Mick, for fixing that one up for us. All right, Bob, we have you, obviously, with the Minnesota Soybean Growers Association. I'm sure that there's a tie-in there as well, but I wanted to talk a little bit about mental health and how things are going out there in the farm world. Obviously, the same stresses that we've been dealing with for the last several years are either there or seem to be worse than they were before. But in the cases of commodity prices and input costs and just expenses in general, there is more help for folks under stress. And I completely understand any grower that female, male, whatever, that has stress about that. I think most of us, even just going to the grocery store and the prices we pay being up, can feel that. But I know you're a part of a committee, that is working to give some options to growers out there, because we are still losing growers.
We're losing growers at a very high rate, and that's very sad because there is great help. Our biggest challenge to get people to go get some help is to admit that they need to have some help. And the first thing is to go to get help. Go to the doctor. Go to a psychiatrist. Go anything. I had mental health issues back in the middle 80s when I was a young farmer, and I went into severe depression. My wife talked me into going to the doctor because she said, you got to have help. And I did. And I got lucky enough that I had a very young PA that just got out of school. So he'd been working with drugs to help mental health.
Yeah.
And he put me on some medications, and it was fantastic. I went from being a really gloomy guy, which I'm not. I'm a very happy-go-lucky guy. And it took me about a couple years, but I got back to my normal self. And I just can't stress enough. You can get help. It's no different than if you have cold, pneumonia, whatever. Go to the doctor, get some help, and you'll feel a lot better.
A lot of times I don't think people realize the help that is actually out there as well. I can speak to the North Dakota side. I have anxiety issues, and I had gone through a couple of things, and I had really high anxiety, and to the point where I wasn't sleeping, and I finally decided, you know what, I got to go in and talk to somebody, and what a world of difference. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was just finally sitting down to somebody and telling somebody else, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm seeing. And that person was able to just make a good relation to another topic. And I was like, it just clicked for me. But it can be simple, but it can be something a little bit more expansive. But that help is there, and it cost me nothing. I got no bills for that.
That's right. And you felt so much better when you started talking about it.
Yep.
And you will. You'll feel so much better. And that's all we ask, is to go Don't hold it into yourself. Go talk to somebody, even your minister or anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Please talk to them. And if you feel that you need to talk to somebody right now, in Minnesota, you call 988. I say that again, 988 is the number you call. It's 24/7. You'll have people answer it, and you'll get help instantly. There'll be somebody talking to you,
Yeah.
and they'll tell you where to go if you have to go further. So it's a great thing.
If there's a situation where it's like an emergency situation, or you're very concerned about somebody, is it even a phone call, or should you just maybe even just take them in?
Take them.
Just take them in.
Take them in. I mean, it's not happened to me. I've had to talk to some people to convince them that's just what they got to do. But if
Yeah.
you got somebody that's really, you can tell in their eyes, you can tell a lot of things, that if they're starting to feel that you're noticing they're not
Yeah.
very good. Get them in the car, take them to your local hospital. They'll make sure you get help.
It seems like there's a lot more help today than there has been in years from before, but the stress level on growers right now, are we at an all-time high? Are we, compared to the 80s? I mean, you lived in the 80s. That was terrible. We didn't have rain for like a year, and was at 88, maybe even 89 was thrown in there.
Yeah.
But and it sounded like that was a tough time for you.
That was a tough time, and we were paying 20% interest, and we were doing
Yes.
all kinds of things, and your land value dropped by half, and your machinery dropped by 2/3. I mean, everything dropped, and you were just in a terrible hurt. Yeah, it was bad then, but I think it's worse now. Because I think why it's worse now is people aren't getting help. There's a lot of good help out there. We didn't have any help back in the 80s. You didn't talk about mental health. I didn't talk about mental health until 2018. That's the first time I even told anybody that I had a mental health issue. And I just decided, you know what, maybe it's time to talk about it and get some help. And so that's what I did. And that's what I keep telling everybody. It's okay to ask for some help.
Yeah.
And that's why the help is there. That's why it's there.
Talk to me about the committee. You mentioned that a couple of times. Who put this committee together, and how often do you meet, and who is it?
Okay, Minnesota Department of Ag had a mental health. Well, they had one person that went around and helped, to help people with mental health. Now they have 3 people, and Meg Monahan was the head of this, and she finally decided that we should probably get a committee together, and all the people that are dealing with mental health, the University of Minnesota, Minnesota Department of Ag, and all those people, and I'm the only farmer. I am the only farmer. I'm only male.
Yeah.
That's on the committee, but Meg and I have been friends for a long time since we started talking about mental health. And she uses me a lot as a poster child or whatever to talk about mental health. And I will talk. If I can save somebody's life, it's worth every time I talk.
Do you find, because you farm in southwestern Minnesota, do you find like there's pockets where the communication doesn't
matter?
Okay.
You can have the richest area around and a farmer that's maybe not even financial stressed. I know a young man that committed suicide. He was with his dad, not a financial problem in the world, and it's really good.
Well, hopefully people, if they're listening to this, are able to reach out. There are resources available. I don't have the run through in North Dakota, but I know there's plenty. For Minnesota, again, 988 is the big one right now.
988. Just remember that number, 988, and you'll get fantastic help.
Finances aren't an issue.
Nope.
No. Just get
just call and get it, and they'll probably line you up with one of the persons with Minnesota Department of Ag that'll work really good for you and your family.
Okay. Bob, anything else in this? Because you lived it, you've been through it, you've worked to help provide the services. Anything that we're missing here before we let you go?
I don't think so. All I ask is please just ask for help.
Okay.
Don't hold it in. Please do not. Just ask for help.
Gotcha. All right. Bob Worth, again, with the Minnesota Soybean Growers Association. How's the soybeans look before we let you go?
Oh, the soybeans look good. They're tall. They're lush. I mean, we don't know how the potting's going to go because it is August. Now it's a potting time.
Yeah.
But I've never seen beans so lush and tall and dark green.
Okay.
So we'll see how they feel.
Something to smile about. Let's hope we keep getting some rain.
Yeah.
All right, Bob, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate your time. We need to take a break. We've got the second hour of Farm Talk coming up, our final hour here at Minnesota Farm Fest. Our coverage brought to you as a service by Spray Tech. We'll be back in just a bit.
You're watching the Egg Central Radio Network live stream. Stay tuned. Our next interview is coming up soon. For the latest agricultural news, market updates, and daily podcasts, visit us online at agnews890.com. We'll be right back. You're watching the Egg Central Radio Network live stream. Stay tuned. Our next interview is coming up soon. For the latest agricultural news, market updates, and daily podcasts, visit us online at agnews890.com. We'll be right back. You're watching the Egg Central Radio Network live stream. Stay tuned. Our next interview is coming up soon. For the latest agricultural news, market updates, and daily podcasts, visit us online at eggnews890.com. We'll be right back. You're watching the Egg Central Radio Network live stream. Stay tuned. Our next interview is coming up soon. For the latest agricultural news, market updates, and daily podcasts, visit us online at eggnews890.com. We'll be right back. You're watching the Egg Central Radio Network live stream. Stay tuned. Our next interview is coming up soon. For the latest agricultural news, market updates, and daily podcasts, visit us online at eggnews890.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Farm Talk. We are broadcasting from southern Minnesota. Can't pick it down. There's three of them. Is this like 3 M's? It's Morton and Morgan, and what's the third one?
It must be Redwood Falls, right? But it's not an M.
I thought there was somebody that said there was another M. Well, that voice here is the voice of reason, Shannon Schlecht. He is the executive director of AURI. I don't want to get a pen in the neck. It's all good. You may have heard their name before said as Ari, but you guys do a lot of great work. And so AURI is the correct way to identify that. And we want to make sure, because the work you guys are doing, you guys got events and webinars and seminars and different things that you guys put on. And a lot of it has to do with energy that I've seen lately, or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, no, we have 5 areas that we focus on. So, and renewable energy is one big area, and really focused on biogas these days in terms of what is another renewable energy opportunity for producers in the agriculture community that's kind of been overlooked, right? And that we're just seeing a ton of interest around. So we've been diving deeper into that space to see how we can de-risk it and look at new opportunities for farmers and food and egg processors here.
Anything along the lines also like the green fertilizer movement we've been talking, and it's more in Minnesota than anywhere. I know that the folks from Morris have been working on some alternative ways of developing fertilizer, and I forget the egg commissioner. I think he called it green fertilizer, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, that's a super fascinating area, and one that we've been collaborating with the University of Minnesota around green ammonia and right, the green fertilizer piece of that, as to how does that work, or how could that scale and be an opportunity, and how does that combine, I think in our eyes, right, where we look more at the agricultural products, and green ammonia is electrolysis of air and separating that out, but for us, how does that combine together then with the nutrients that we have available from our organic feedstocks here, of crop residues to manure to other egg processing?
Would we ever be able to develop it enough, though, where we'd have enough product, like for a green ammonia or those types of things? Would we ever, I mean, let's say, hey, this is great, we should be doing this, and everybody switch to it. Would we be able to produce?
Well, great question overall, and I think that's a little bit of the diligence that we're doing today, of looking at how much, I mean, we import all of our synthetic fertilizer into the state, right? We don't produce today, and are there ways that we could offset some, what percentage of that could be offset where we have local production creating, economic activity in our rural towns where there are these byproduct streams that have nutrient value that we could put back into the circular approach, right, of farming, and are there ways that we could look at manure gets reapplied today, but are there ways that we could augment that and increase the volume and start offsetting some of those costs, and fluctuations in the supply chain? And
just with everything we've been going through with the wars, the supply disruptions, and in prices, it's got to be on the table, right? I mean, we got to keep looking harder at this.
We do, exactly. We started looking more deeply at this, and we've always done work on looking at co-product streams, and what are their best valorization opportunities, whether that be fertilizer or fuel pellets or animal feed, Right, but I think what's happened in the fertilizer market,
Yeah.
we're just seeing a lot more interest around what can we do from a local fertilizer production standpoint, and then what are new technologies that we're seeing that may fit, or we can look at different business models even of how we can make this come together to get to a critical mass that makes it viable from a business standpoint.
I have to ask you this question. So, and you're going to be able to do this a lot better. If you had to do it in a sentence, what is AURI? Or two. We'll give you two.
Sure. We are a nonprofit that looks at how can we commercialize new products and expand markets for items made from agricultural feedstocks.
Very good description.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
I've had
bread and butter. Right,
I've had
of
that
what we
question
do.
asked to me, but in my brain it's just like, oh, you guys do so many things, and but that is in a nutshell what's happening. You guys don't get the glory front page stories, but you guys help a lot of people. And again, is it mostly the customers or the people that you work with? Are they new to the business world, and those are the people you're helping, or do you have like repeat folks that come in and like, hey, I want to do this now, and hey, I want to do that now?
Yeah, it is a wide range of what we work on. What I find fun about it, I mean, it is like the garage idea, right, from a producer or whoever might be looking at, hey, this is what we're doing, right? How do I move this forward and get it to market, right? And right, if it's a goat cheese or an oil product or whatever it might be, we've worked on projects all the way up to the Fortune 500s where we have specific expertise that can really be an unlock of looking at that, and then how does it scale right at the end of the day. So cooperatives here are great partners of ours in terms of looking at third-party R&D where they haven't they don't have that expertise on staff, and we've got 30 people with a wide range of experience and expertise and skills, and then connectivity I think is the other big piece that we bring to the table in terms of bringing solutions and problems to the that might not happen as quickly without our engagement in the middle.
And you guys have been around since the 80s, right?
Yeah, 1989, right? So 37 years.
Bad year for agriculture.
Right.
88 and 89 was not good.
That's why the state created us, right? To looking at how can we think about farm gate prices and disappearance in a new way. Right, and we've been around ever since doing that same, right? The reason we were created is what we still do today, right? It just may be different, or we pivoted in terms of what's the opportunity space now.
Do you find that you're helping more people now, or about the same, or less, or where is Ori at as far as or AURI?
Yeah, great question again. So last year, we probably worked on 200 projects overall with our staff of 30. But that's what becomes formal projects, right? We do a lot more work on just interactions and engagements and putting the pieces together, right? And that number's been fairly steady, I'd say, over the last 5 years of what we do. But what we've done is really tried to create more tools and put on some more events that reach a wider sphere of people. So, for example, we do 10 events a year, right, where they're webinars or in-person forums where we bring people together to really understand what we're doing, and just making sure the information's getting out there. And then and we do a fair number of confidential projects where we're helping businesses move those ideas to the commercial marketplace. But then we're also experimenting with AI, right, in terms of,
oh my gosh, that's a whole big new field.
That's a whole space, right? So we're pulling together information that we trust into a small, what I would call a small language model, and putting guardrails around it for anybody to access 24/7, and that we have validated to be credible information back to queries to move different ideas forward, right? So how can we be more efficient and reach more people has been at the top of our mind as well.
Well, the other part of this now, you get part of your budget from the Minnesota legislature, which helps keep costs down, but it's not necessarily a free service, but it's pretty darn cheap in the grand scheme of things if you were to go out and hire somebody to do what you do.
Yeah, correct. I mean, it's been such a great partnership with the legislature over these 36 years, right, or 37 years of the work. So we work on a fee basis for projects, but what's great if you're a Minnesota company and you're looking for technical expertise or another commercial mindset of what channels, what's the viability, If you're a startup, you only pay 20% of our costs, right? The 80% of our costs is absorbed by that legislative appropriation, right? So you're getting PhD level input and decades of experience from our business development teams, right? To like troubleshoot, avoid mistakes, right? Develop new products, and think about the other market opportunities there, to whether it be distribution to a whole new category, to right, like what's the economic viability of like looking at different ingredients or different formulations, whether it be bioindustrial or food.
Right.
So it's I think it's such a great value when I look at the expertise and staff. And then not only that, but then you get this whole network that we've developed over 37 years of connecting to other people in the agriculture value chain, right, that we can plug in around collaborations and opportunities.
The sad truth is this is all for Minnesota, right? Generally,
yeah, yep. So we do work outside of Minnesota, but it is on a full fee basis.
It's a different.
Yeah, and it has to be some benefit to Minnesota, right? We have to have a line of sight in terms of it benefiting Minnesota agriculture for us to work on it.
But the other side of it is, though, you guys have been doing this for a long time. Over 40 years. Was it how many? 30 years?
30, yeah, we're coming up on 37.
37.
Right?
Sometime I'll get math down. 37. You can't buy. I mean, I guess you could, but that's a lot of experience, a lot of trials, a lot of maybe heartbreak, and a lot of successes that you guys have gone through.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to help people launch their products and be successful at it.
Right. I think lessons learned over that time period is phenomenal, right, in terms of what not to do. Right. And I think that is one of the benefits of working with us too, is that we've probably seen it to some degree, and that we can avoid those mistakes and save money, and right, you can invest that back into a successful business.
What is the website?
Our website is auri.org.
Okay,
right. And we just updated our website as well to make it more like a user interface, more friendly, kind of recategorize what's on there. So our 5 priority areas are in there as solutions. So those are biogas, co-products, bio-based products, food ingredients, and scaling food companies. So if you want to like take a deeper dive in terms of what we do in those areas and what solutions we could bring, that would be a great place to get started and engage us for a conversation, a cost-free consultation, basically.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned get started. That literally was going to be my next question. So go to the website and just fill out basically a little information sheet, and somebody will get back to you.
Yeah. There's a contact us form under each of those areas, and it'll go to our lead in that space to reach out and then have a conversation. And sometimes we are a great fit to move that forward, but if we're not, we have a great Rolodex. Right?
The people to talk to.
So, I should say an electronic contact database right now, right? In terms of moving it along.
I can't let you go without talking about, you've got events going on all the time, but you got a big one coming up in December. We didn't get to talk about it, so let's talk about it now.
Yeah, so we host events, so you can check out our events. We record everything that we do, and we have a podcast and other things, right, just to look for information that's going on. But in December, we're looking at, we're planning our marine biofuels program in a day-long event of looking at, right, we've got ethanol, E15 that's being looked at, SAF and others, but marine biofuels is getting a little bit more attention in the marketplace, and we really want to put on an event that we've curated people in that can speak to the topic and look at that opportunity, and then for us to come back and say, like, what is Minnesota's opportunity in marine biofuels, and who should we be collaborating with, and looking at that to expand that biofuels market space here.
What's that going to be like if we get those developed? Just those renewable fuels.
Yeah, I mean, you start looking at the marketplace, and I don't know the numbers offhand, but globally, like SAF is 100 billion gallons, I think, worldwide, and marine biofuels probably isn't too far away, but I don't know the number off the top of my head in terms of how many billions of gallons that is.
Between the airline and it just there's so much potential out
right
there, and sadly enough, other countries are ahead of us. That's a lot of these areas.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a lot of are moving forward like pretty quickly and putting different programs and processes in place. And I think we've had a great success. We've seen what ethanol and biodiesel and that these programs bring to the agriculture community. And how do we continue to grow that pie, overall of market expansion? Great opportunity, but not without work that needs to happen in collaboration.
So you've got several things that you host. You got the event coming up in December. Is there a calendar or an event page on your website that people can scroll down?
So we have events. We have upcoming events, so you can take a look there. And we, don't have all of them listed all the way through the calendar year yet, but that would be a great place to look to see what we have going on. And we do have a webinar that we did on marine biofuels a couple months ago. So if you want to get a flavor as to what we're looking at there, where we looked at the opportunities for ethanol as well as biodiesel and renewable natural gas into the marine biofuels market. So it gives you a flavor as to like all the different pathways that could exist and where agriculture could participate.
Yeah, I forget who I talked to. Is it Luca?
Probably, yeah.
He's like science and like technicals. I'm like, when did that start being a part of AUR?
Yeah. No, Luca's been with us. Oh boy, has it been 5 years already?
Oh my gosh.
As our senior director of science and technology.
There you go.
And, just brings just a great perspective of a chemical engineer by training. So just like all the opportunities that you can do, it's just a question of economics, right? At that point, and he brings in both that side of it, and I think again, AURI is unique where we're not just like one side of the equation, right? We bring a full equation together of how does the business and the technical side work, and then like how do we work together to move that forward.
Absolutely. Shannon Schlecht again. He is executive director of AURI. I only said RE once, so I think I get it passed this time.
Well done. No, thanks for having me, and
awesome.
Always great to visit.
Yep, and we got to get you on more often, but for sure we got a date in 365 days.
I love it.
All right, sounds good. We'll take a break. Our coverage brought to you by Spray Tech. We'll be back with more Farm Talk coming up in just a moment.
You're watching the Egg Central Radio Network live stream. Stay tuned. Our next interview is coming up soon. For the latest agricultural news, market updates, and daily podcasts, visit us online at agnews890.com. We'll be right back. You're watching the Egg Central Radio Network live stream. Stay tuned. Our next interview is coming up soon. For the latest agricultural news, market updates, and daily podcasts, visit us online at agnews890.com. We'll be right back. You're watching the Egg Central Radio Network live stream. Stay tuned. Our next interview is coming up soon. For the latest agricultural news, market updates, and daily podcasts, visit us online at eggnews890.com. We'll be right back. You're watching the Egg Central Radio Network live stream. Stay tuned. Our next interview is coming up soon. For the latest agricultural news, market updates, and daily podcasts, visit us online at eggnews890.com. We'll be right back.
Back here on Farm Talk, Minnesota Farm Fest, and I was telling Mark Gutierrez, who is joining us for a second segment, there is a gentleman over there that is walking around. It looks like he's got iced tea almost, but he's got looks like he's got peaches in there. I'm like, ooh, that looks good.
Refreshing.
I'm gonna have you pull your microphone a little bit closer there. It gets a little whoopy once in a while. You start looking like you're Marvin Martian, so I want to make sure you're all set in the right direction here. All right, so you and I were visiting a little bit, catching up to speed. You're with Minnesota Soil Health. What is the official? Are you executive director?
Yes, sir.
Is it Minnesota Soil Health
Coalition.
So we're close.
Yep.
Yeah, through the horseshoe in that general area.
Absolutely.
What's your website?
mnsoilhealth.org.
And you guys spend a lot of time doing educating. Is that primary focus?
That is really our primary focus. And we do about 60 to 80 educational events a year across Minnesota.
And you do make it up into our neck of the woods, too. We got a new, big woods, but you've been as close to me this year as Holly. You and I were talking about that earlier today, about 20 miles away from Fargo-Moorhead, but you've been down in, the Barnesville area. You got another one coming up here soon, do you not, or did it pass?
No, it's coming up here to Thursday and Friday of this week.
Where is it at?
In Crookston, or technically
that's
Fisher,
right
right
okay.
outside of Crookston.
That's still in our area. So what's happening?
It's going to be a great day. Craig LaPlante is a farmer hosting the field day. Ray Archuleta is in town teaching, doing soil health demos. We got some robotics there featuring weed management.
Okay.
We're going to do some special soil health equipment demonstrations where they're bringing new equipment to us out of Canada.
Nice.
And then we're going to walk through and see camelina in some different situations. So really excited about that.
Okay, talk to me about camelina now. I've heard that name. I know more and more people are starting to grow it. There's not a lot of it being grown yet. Why is that the buzzword lately?
Well, two reasons. One, there's this big shift in interest in biofuels, and camelina gives us that opportunity for
It's
a
an
low
oil.
carbon. Yep.
Is it almost like the equivalent of like soybeans? I mean, I've literally never been in a field. Is it like with the
maybe-
soy oil that you could extract?
Yeah,
Is it somewhat like that?
between soybeans and canola.
Okay, and maybe somebody used canola as an example
Yeah.
of the oil. But so it is an oil producer, and
Mm-hmm.
it's good. Is there any monetary reason? Is it cheaper to grow? Is it a shorter? I think it's shorter days. Is it not?
Yes, and we have Cargill has a contract right now for it, so we have a market. The University of Minnesota is offering some cost share on it.
Hmm.
So you put those two together, and that becomes even more interesting for farmers.
Yeah.
And we still have a lot to learn. It's a really tiny seed, so we're learning and going through the challenges of what it takes to make equipment shifts to manage it.
That would have been my next question. So if it's a really tiny seed, can you just use your combine? Do you have to make adjustments, or
Got to
how
make
does that
some
work?
adjustments,
You
smaller
do.
screens. Think
Okay.
about it when you're hauling it and when you're putting it in bins. All of those considerations come into place, and it goes well. It does well in cover crops. It does well in no-till systems, and
Who's like the main person for camelina that you could talk? Is there like like there's a soybean and a wheat association? Is there a camelina association?
there's not
Or
a
yet?
camelina association, but Cargill's really driving that, and
Okay.
Forever Green kind of are pushing it because they're the ones offering the cost share.
Gotcha.
And so they've got some standards that they recommend for farmers on the agronomy side when you're doing it.
Yeah.
And that's been really helpful. And we've hosted a lot of field days in partnership with them, trying to get the word out so people can come see it and check it out.
Okay. Well, before we go too much further, one thing that we did want to do is you've been doing your detective work here, and I'm going to let you set this up. I think it's a pretty cool little study that you did with the test plots here.
Here at Farm Fest on Seed Row, there's a whole bunch of folks with test plots, and they're running demonstrations. They're featuring their corn varieties and their soybean varieties. That's the majority what they're featuring.
Yep.
And we have our plots. We have a double plot, so we split that into about 6 or 7. We've been doing no-till cover crops on those for 6 years now.
Mhm.
So we've been testing them, taking soil tests, doing what I call field assessments, where I take my pentrometer to measure compaction. I do a shovel test. We do infiltration rings. We do a whole bunch of assessments. So I did my assessments in our fields and all up and down Seed Row.
And they didn't know you were doing this.
And well, I was really curious to see what we're seeing in our fields
Yeah.
and how these practices are impacting it. And I'll tell you a couple fun facts. Our fields, our no-till cover crops for 6 years, we're infiltrating an inch of water in 20 to 55 seconds. Most of the other plots up and down Seed Row are taking 6 to 8 hours to infiltrate that same inch of water.
Oh my God! So that means most likely running off.
Most likely running off. That's right. It's not going in the ground because there's not enough roots. It's too hot. It's bare soil, and the biology is not there. The other thing I did is I took my compaction, my pentrometer, and measured compaction up and down, and we're seeing zero compaction, which means I'm taking my pentrometer pole all the way into the ground in our fields, and then most of the other plots, I'm not able to even get the tip in.
Jeez.
And so it's hot, it's dry right now, and that's what we're seeing as an impact. When we have that residue on the ground from our cover crops and we have those living roots, that soil stays moist, it holds moisture, and it's spongy.
Right. Man, that is amazing. So are you planning to share the results, or are you
Yes.
going to be like, no, it wasn't me in your field?
I have been sharing the results all day with folks who come by.
Well, yeah, the people that come by, have you been telling the people?
You know, I probably will mention it
Yeah.
and share it around because I think that folks need to know it. And, you know, I would love to see Farm Fest help encourage those practices come into play, and maybe they could help plant cover crops for everybody this fall.
Because really, I would think, just accentuate their seed, right, or whatever
Absolutely.
product that they're planting.
It
It'd
does.
make it
It
work
makes the
easier.
soil healthier, and that makes the seed grow better. We get better root growth.
Yeah.
We see bigger roots in the systems.
I know one more, like my friend Mark Philbrand, nothing drives him more insane than seeing water running off of fields.
Yeah.
And that's another, again, soil compaction.
Yep.
Bringing
Exactly.
that down will certainly help with that.
Yeah.
That's some really interesting data. Now, when you have your event coming up in Crookston, let's kind of spin back to that a little bit. You've had several soil different conferences. You were one of several groups, or is it mostly you and just the people you bring in when you do these shows? These
Here at
with like
Farm
Ray,
Fest?
no,
Oh.
when you're up north, like in Crookston.
Yeah, so when we're up in Crookston, we'll bring in Ray Archuleta. He's kind of famous. They call him the soil guy.
Yeah.
Really knowledgeable. He worked for NRCS for a long time and consults on 1,000,000 acres. And so we'll have him there leading. It's a school, so he's really going to be leading a lot of soil health demos out in the field, doing some of these assessments I talked about,
Yeah.
and some other demonstrations. And then we'll be featuring that equipment. We'll be featuring Camelina. And it's going to be a deep dive. We're going to spend a little bit of time in a classroom as well,
Oh.
looking at soil tests and how to use them and how to make fertility recommendations for yourself.
Okay. Is this something that you need to sign up for? And generally, these have been free, I believe. Is that the same?
Most of ours are free when we do these schools. We do 3 this year. Normally, we've only done 1. We charge for the school. We charge for our annual conference. The other 70 events out of the year are free.
Okay. Very cool. Do you have a full calendar on your website?
We have a
of
full
everything?
calendar, mnsoilhealth.org.
Okay. Are we getting to the end of the calendar, or where are you at? Are you guys busy this fall?
We
or
are
you...
not even close.
Really?
We still have another 40 to 50 events
my
on the
gosh.
calendar.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of. Do you try to make every one of them, or do you?
I make about 3/4 of them.
Okay.
And so we do. They're specialized. Some of them are general soil health days. Some of them are specific to how to use a soil test to make recommendations. Some of them are how to do soil health assessments. After we get done up at Craig's place with Ray, we're taking him down to Traverse County in Wheaton.
Mm-hmm.
The Soil and Water Conservation District started a demonstration plot there, so farmers can come see what it looks like to go through the transition, so they know what they're getting into if they want to jump in. And so we're going to go do a field day there. That's going to be free. We're going to have be serving up some steaks from Cattlemen's.
Nice.
So come get a steak and learn and spend some time out in the field with us.
Were you the one that was telling me about that somebody has a plot? I don't remember if it was you or not, that they had an example of no-till for 2 years and no-till for 10 years. And there was
Yes.
such a huge difference in the
Yeah.
growth for the tenure of no-till. Was that you, or was
Yeah,
that somebody?
that was up at Dan's place in Holly.
It was. Oh, that's
And
right.
He had
Okay.
this great side-by-side opportunity for us to see what the soil looks like in a 2-year no-till transition and a full system 10-year no-till with covers. And it was eye-opening. It was literally ooh and ah for people to see that difference of soil aggregates and the moisture and how much deeper the roots went.
Yeah. Is there a downside to no-till? I mean, with everything, there's a little give and take, right?
I think the biggest thing is the learning curve.
Okay.
And it takes a little bit of time for soils to become healthy enough for no-till to work really well. So there's a pain in the 2 to 3 year transition period.
It should lower your input costs, though, right? For the amount of chemical that you
Absolutely.
need.
In the long run, what we see nutrient cycling happening, so we can lessen how much NP and K we apply. We tend to spend more time focusing on micronutrients, which are a lot cheaper to purchase and get on your fields, and less on the macronutrients because we're getting that cycling, and you get your fuel cost reduced.
Okay. Real quick, how often do you recommend people get their soil tested?
I say anytime you're about to put some fertility out on your fields, you should get a soil test. I recommend the Haney test because it gives us both organic and inorganic nitrogen and phosphorus,
Yeah.
and helps us to make better decisions about how much we actually need out in the field.
And that's a big thing.
Mhm.
I would say there's a fair portion of the time that we over apply
Yeah,
because we just go, well, this is how much I use.
absolutely. We over apply, and if we are taking the Haney test and we're doing nutrient cycling, we are seeing right out of the gate with the Haney test, I can work with a farmer and cut nitrogen by 20 and 30% without impacting yields.
Got it. All right. Well, unfortunately, I'm out of time. I got to get a hold of you more often. But, Mark, it is great to see you again. Thanks for sharing your
Yeah,
little test that you
definitely.
did, too. That was fun. And for folks that want to find out more about Minnesota Soil Health, what's the website?
mnsoilhealth.org.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You back to your autograph session.
You're watching the Egg Central Radio Network live stream. Stay tuned. Our next interview is coming up soon. For the latest agricultural news, market updates, and daily podcasts, visit us online at agnews890.com. We'll be right back. You're watching the Egg Central Radio Network live stream. Stay tuned. Our next interview is coming up soon. For the latest agricultural news, market updates, and daily podcasts, visit us online at agnews890.com. We'll be right back.
Broadcast from Minnesota Farm Fest, our final broadcast this year, but that does not mean that Farm Fest is done. They've got another third and final full day for you tomorrow. Hours are a little bit different. I believe they go 8 to 3 tomorrow, but still the Woman of the Year or Farm Family of the Year. A lot of things happening on the stages. They're going to have musical entertainment. And the corn folk are going to be there, Minnesota Corn, and the corn ice cream. John Modges joining me now. And John, first of all, thank you for making the trek. We did come and hunt you down.
well, thank you for finding me. Yeah, so it's you talked about the corn ice cream. We had a great crowd coming through the tent today. So
okay, so what you do every year, that is your call for folks, even if they're not in the corn industry, they know about that corn ice cream. And the person that came with me, it's her first big farm show like this, and I said, you have to try the corn ice cream, and she's kind of like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And now she's saying, where do you buy this? Because it was awesome. So is that available, or is that an exclusive to Farm Fest?
It's pretty exclusive to Farm Fest. So the University of Minnesota makes it for us. So they make like 100 tubs, and the tubs.
That's it?
Well, they're big tubs. So
they're big tubs.
They're big tubs. So
do you ever run out of the ice cream?
They do kind of limit each day, so they might run out by 2
on
3
one
o'clock.
particular day, but then they'll have more for the next day. So it is pretty awesome, and if you want to pass along, there are folks that would buy it if they ever decide to sell it. So just put it out there. Maybe it's just me with the big belly. All right, so let me ask you about the show first of all. We're towards the end of the second day. Your booth has been busy. I actually stopped by there a few times. I didn't even talk to anybody because you guys are so busy. But and a lot of times you guys end up with like the forum panels. I think the U.S. Senate panel is going on today. A lot of times those candidates stop by your booth.
Well, it's been busy. Yeah, we get a lot of candidates through there. They want to understand agriculture, and a lot of them don't have ag in their background. So they kind of seek us out in the other commodity groups, and that's why they're at Farm Fest. Kind of learn more about the farm and the problems and the issues we have.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I'm just curious. Did Brooke Rollins make it to your guys' tent? I'd heard that she was going to corn and she was going to soybeans.
That's all I know. Actually, yesterday morning we had a round table in our tent at 8:30, and I was part of that round table. So it was, she's a quite personable person. She asked a lot of questions, and and she's mainly talking about technology, how more modern technology to make it easier for the farmers to record their crops and things like that.
Well, I would say this. I can't speak to her a large amount, but I would say, because she was up in Fargo about a half a year ago as well and spoke up there, she knows her business and she's working her tail off.
Right, yeah.
That's what I would say about her.
Yeah, so her grandparents actually are from Minnesota, by Clear Lake. So
she had a small time here.
That's right. That's right. So she has Minnesota roots to her. So
okay. Well, one of the couple of things we wanted to talk to you about, John. First of all, you were the past chair of the Research and Promotion Council, basically our checkoff dollars for corn.
Right.
And so we wanted to speak a little bit about that today because people like to know what's happening with the checkoff dollars. And so I guess, what message would you put out there to our listeners?
So I guess the message I want to put out there is we kind of have a theme that the checkoff delivers. And, as you know, 1 penny from every bushel of corn sold gets checked off. And and we're responsible for spending that money on different items. So we do a lot of research with different entities. University of Minnesota is our biggest one. We spend over $2 million a year just with the University of Minnesota doing. And we're researching, nitrogen management, nutrient management, new uses for corn, new uses for, corn plastics from biofuels. And ethanol is another big issue. A lot of promotion on ethanol, things like that. But that checkoff dollar also supports, like the National Corn Growers and U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council, which is our exporting arm of the corn in the United States.
Okay.
So,
is there going to be a large corn party if E15 finally gets passed?
I think so. They were pretty excited. They were pretty excited when it passed the House because they've been working on it a long time, and now the Senate has it in their sights. So hopefully
this week, maybe.
Hopefully it gets done. Right?
Yeah. So. Well, we'll see how that. Sure, something we could use. I've been a long proponent. A lot of people have as well, but I just wanted to throw it out there. I think people, and we haven't talked about it as much maybe in the last year or two, but because of everything with E15 and Farm Bill and all this other stuff, there's been a lot of conversation about the development of use of corn in other things, including clothing.
Right, right.
I don't know if people realize the amount of different things that are out there.
Right, there's clothing lines out there. It's kind of like a spandex material.
Yeah.
There's filters for your furnace out there. There's different uses for corn, and each year the National Corn Growers got like a corn challenge with new items that you can make from corn. And,
Yeah.
so that's kind of been a big hit. So.
I'm assuming you guys do the same thing as North Dakota does. Like once a year, you guys get together and listen to proposals for new uses, and then you decide what you do with your money from there.
We have a process that we put out a request for proposals for research and different things, and we'll get quite a few proposals in, and then as a team we try to narrow it down. What's our strategic plan? What do we want to invest in, and so we do that. And,
you guys are probably still looking for the $1 million fix, though, right?
well, it's the big new use, right?
Yeah.
So it's what can grind more corn, and right now maritime ethanol use is looking like it's kind of on the horizon. But if we could get some maritime use and
yes,
and a lot of these ships have got to get cleaner burning fuel, and they're starting to pull that direction a little bit. So.
I'm just reaching in the dark here a little bit, but it seems to me there was like a blue flame technology deal at one time too.
There's
Is that still going or is that not?
Well, it's kind of quieted down, but John Deere actually's got an E898 tractor that they're experimenting with an all ethanol engine.
Okay.
And they got a few models out there right now, kind of demo models that they're working with, and so there is some interest in ethanol technology that runs like a diesel, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the biggest question you get from a grower as far as the checkoff? Just what's my money being used for?
Well,
or
yeah.
what's the money being used
Well,
for?
basically, yeah. It's, how are you spending my dollar? And when you try to explain all the things that we're doing, and they understand. And,
Yeah.
And it's a voluntary system, so if a grower they could ask for it back, but we have 95-96% leave it in there because they know that they're getting value for that dollar.
You would be hard pressed not to be able to say, look at a newspaper. I mean, there's just uses. There's plenty of uses out there, and you guys are definitely working your tail off. When is the next big thing for you? So now you're in the retirement slope. You're past chair.
Right.
I'm not quite sure what that means. Does that mean you're not going to the meetings anymore?
Oh,
Because I
no.
know plenty of past chairs that are still going to the meetings.
Well, they just push you in a corner. No. We're like we have a lot of political people coming in the tent the last couple of days, and a lot of them we have kind of developed relationships with, so they use it in that way, and it's that old knowledge or whatever you want to say.
Right.
It's, they need that knowledge on the board.
So speaking of that knowledge that he doesn't want to leave, the other part of this is your son is taking over for you too on the farm.
Yeah, our oldest son Andrew, he's starting to take over the farm the last couple of years. So we're so he's a long distance farmer right now. He still works in Fargo area.
Yeah.
But
Is he coming back?
He's coming back once we find a house to move to. So once we move, and so we've been looking for a place, and hopefully we find one soon.
So and I was asking you about this before, and I know several people, and every year is the same, but what does retirement mean to you? And to me, it actually means probably going somewhere warm and not working anymore. For you, it just means here's the bills, I'll go on the tractor.
Yeah. You're right. Now you pay the bills, and I'll drive, and you figure out how.
Here's the stress.
Yeah. You take care of that, right?
So you're planning to stick around and be that cheap labor for a while.
I'll be cheap labor for a while.
That is awesome. All right. So it is good to hear. I like to share the stories too, because for a while we were talking about that the younger generation maybe didn't want to come back and be on the farm. But I hear more and more it's the exact opposite.
Right.
So
they want that opportunity just like we did, and and I think they'll be excellent in the long run. I think it's good for America.
Got to get some things fixed. Got to get a farm bill. Got to get commodity prices up. Got to get trade fixed. But it can happen.
So we got a lot of representatives here from the political world, and that's what we're talking about. So.
Do you have gray hair yet?
Hopefully, I don't have to touch that. So, but,
That's just grass fed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, John, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming over, and we'll trek you back to the tent because you're on the other side. But I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you.
Well, thank you. So.
All right. That's going to do it for our coverage here at Minnesota Farm Fest. And a big thank you to Justin and our friends from SprayTech. If you want to find out more about SprayTech, go to SprayTech USA. That's going to do it for our coverage here. I'll see you back in Fargo tomorrow. This is Farm Talk. And again, beautiful day tomorrow. If you're in the area for Minnesota